league standings. The 3-9 Mammoths will send Thomas Muratori to the mound for his third start of the season and his 8th outing overall. The New York native who attended Lesley University has put up some solid numbers so far this year, tallying a 2.35 ERA and striking out 16 batters in 15 1/3 innings of work. Muratori pitched 21 complete games out of the 50 that he started in college, so Westside would like him to go the distance today against the back-to-back USPBL champion Beavers. The 4-7 Beavers will send their lefty starter Jerry Salisbury to the mound for his 5th start of the season. Salisbury enters the ballgame leading the team with his 2.74 ERA and has struck out 20 batters in 23 innings of work. After coming off a pretty strong USPBL campaign, Salisbury has improved his stuff and is looking to help his team improve after their tough start, and also looking for his first win of the season. Offensively, the Mammoths have been led so far this year by Sonny Cortez, Ryan Dobson, and Ethan Whisker, who have provided the spark at the top of their lineup. After collecting just 7 hits and 3 runs against the Hoppers last night, the Mammoths need to get their league-leading offense going once again. Their Beavers have been led so far this year by Ryan Kemp, who will make his return today after battling an injury, and also Nick Campana, the USPBL Player of the Week, back in week number 2. However, their newcomer, Ross Haffey, has been a big bat in their lineup so far, hitting 2 home runs and 1 double in just his first 13 at-bats in his USPBL career. An interesting note as well, since the first week of the season, the standings have not changed so far. The Unicorns are currently leading the way with the Hoppers behind them, and then the Beavers in 3rd and Mammoths in 4th. So Chris Newell and Mark Wiedemeyer both know that they need to turn their seasons around after a struggling start, and this game definitely provides them a perfect opportunity to do so. And now I'm going to send it over to Rich Borland. Rich, what else can we expect in today's game?
Yes, Leo, excited for this one, our Sunday matinee contest after another great weekend at the ballpark. We're ready to finalize this one. Yes, the Westside Woolly Mammoths and Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers at the bottom of the standings as they both in the Western Division trying to figure out exactly how they can separate themselves from each other, as Westside and Birmingham Bloomfield have both struggled mightily. For the Beavers, it's been their offense that hasn't really kicked in just yet, and for the Mammoths, they have the hitting. It's just the pitching and sometimes the untimely defense that has not been able to bring them to where they want to be. But overall, we're excited for this one, as it'll be Thomas Muratori and Jerry Salisbury towing the rubber against each other this afternoon. Muratori with the 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs that he'll bring in both about 30% of the time, and then he'll mix in a slider and a curveball when he goes with those. On the other end, Salisbury's got a 4-seam fastball that he throws about 60% of the time, a curveball that he likes to mix in about 13% of the time, and it is one of the better curveballs in the league, and then a changeup 12%, and then he does toss the 2-seam fastball about 11% of the time. Overall, Salisbury 65% of the time he throws strikes, Muratori about 62% of the time, so these two men with a lot of opportunity today, as they are two of the best strike throwers in the league. And then also in terms of extra base hits on the season, Salisbury's only allowed 2 extra base hits. Both of them have been doubles. And then how about this, Thomas Muratori? He's allowed 14 hits on the season, and all of them have been singles. So really good stuff for Muratori as well as Salisbury. They're both 0 for in the win column, as Muratori's 0-1, Salisbury is 0-2, but both of them with an ERA in the middle of the 2 range. So Muratori with a 2.35 ERA, Salisbury with a 2.74 ERA. Something has to give. Salisbury's got the 3rd most innings pitched this year. He's also tied for 5th in the league with 20 strikeouts. And on the other end of it for Muratori, he's tied for 8th with 16 strikeouts. But we'll dive into the starting lineups when we're done with the anthem down on the field. Once again, our Sunday Fun Day contest. Our Ninja Turtles are in the house for some fun with the Beavers and the Mammoths. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have lineups and first pitch from Jimmy John's Field.
And performed today by Metro Detroit Youth Clubs of Washington Township's Kendall Bills.
Oh, say can you see like the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's
give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
So the anthem is all said and done. That means baseball is on tap here at Jimmy John's Field on this Sunday afternoon contest. Rich Borland alongside Leo Ortel providing the commentary. As always, Thomas Muratori out there for just his third start on the season. If you didn't catch the numbers in the pregame show, an 0-1 record with the 2.35 ERA. This overall is his 8th outing of the season, but just the third start. Through 15 and a third innings pitched, he's allowed just 4 earned runs on 14 hits. He's got 6 walks, but also 16 strikeouts. Batters getting hit a quarter of the time. So they're batting .250 against him so far this season. Quickly, the lineup that will go up against him, it'll be Ryan Kemp back in off of that 10-day DL, coming back to us after being injured, but happy to see him back at the top of the Birmingham Bloomfield lineup. Batting second, Nick Campana. Batting third, the newcomer, and boy, is he off to a tearing start. Ross Haffey batting .385 through his first couple of games. Overall, Jack Haranek batting in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth, Adon Ordonez moving up in the lineup. He'd been, for the most part, towards the bottom of it this season, but getting the opportunity in the 5-hole. Adam Gauthier batting sixth. TJ Ward into the 7th spot today. Todd Weiss getting the opportunity. He'll be in left, batting 8th. Ryan Smith, the right fielder, batting 9th. Then for Westside on the other end of it, Ryan Dobson, the shortstop, leading things off. Ethan Whisker batting second. He's in right field. Jake Polshan getting the start today as the designated hitter. He's batting third. Another Jake coming up behind him. That's Barbie, the first baseman today, batting in the cleanup spot. Javon Shelby, the second baseman. He's batting fifth. Sonny Cortez, the league leader with the .400 batting average coming into play today. He's in center, batting sixth. Batting seventh, Steve Pasquale. He's at third base. Batting eighth, the catcher Jackson Smith. And then rounding out the Westside lineup is the left fielder Ryan Rivera. So, Leo, you know what time it is. We've gone through the 18 names on our 2 sheets, and quickly take a pick for your stick in this afternoon's contest, and I'll take someone on the opposite team.
In back-to-back nights, I'm actually going to go with Ethan Whisker like I did last night. He was 1 for 4 yesterday with his first home run of the season. He was the player of the week last week in the USPBL. Has really been picking it up as of late. An 8-game hitting streak on the line in this one, so I'm going with Ethan Whisker once again.
Never a bad pick. And then as I take a look down the other line for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, let's go right at the top. We're going to go Kemp. Back at it, off of injury, but he's got a .318 batting average coming into play this afternoon, so the numbers are there for Kemp. Technically the second best batting average on the team behind Ross Haffey, who's batting .385 through his first 4 games. First pitch misses the zone for Muratori. It's 72 degrees, partly cloudy in Utica. Overall, looks like it's going to be a good day. As the 1-0 to Kemp, hit on a line out to left. Rivera trying to make range of it, but will not. That one hopping off of the wall. Kemp slowly getting into second base. If the tag is made, he's going to be out, and in fact it is. So a wild start to this one. Kemp didn't really get motoring after he rounded first. Maybe a little hesitation. Part of the reason he ended up getting out there, but a leadoff single goes down in the books as a 7-4 putout. Nice heads-up play from Ryan Rivera after he couldn't make the initial catch. He ends up coming through with the arm, and John Shelby there for the tag as Nick Campana standing in, looks at ball 1 to begin his afternoon. Mentioned Rivera, of course, out there in left. Sonny Cortez in center. Your man Whisker over there in right, Leo. And then from left to right in the infield, Steve Pasquale at the hot corner. Ryan Dobson at short. Javon Shelby at second. And then Jake Barbie over at first. Jackson Smith doing the catching this afternoon. This one lined into right. Looks like it's going to be right at Ethan Whisker. And that's kind of how things have been going lately for Campana. He's been able to put good wood on it just right at some of these fielders. And the line out will bode for out number 2. Quickly 2 up and 2 down. Even though the single goes down in the books for Kemp, but I'd be shocked to see the Beavers go down 1-2-3 in this inning with Ross Haffey coming up to the plate. He's batting in the cleanup spot in that game on Thursday when the Beavers, of course, took on the Unicorns. But overall, Haffey has been a big bright spot after the slow offensive start for Birmingham Bloomfield this season. As he looks at the second pitch of the at-bat, evens the count up at 1-1. Ross Haffey first in the league in slugging and on-base percentage. Now, he's only got 4 games under his belt, so the numbers, a little bit askew as he looks at the third pitch. Quickly 1-2 the count. Muratori looking sharp here in this first frame, even though he allowed that line shot to the leadoff man, Ryan Kemp. But it looks like Haffey will not be able to hold back on that one. Smith there to make the tag. 1-2-3 inning, unconventionally for Thomas Muratori, but the Mammoths will take it. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the first we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Ryan Dobson, Ethan Whisker, Jake Polshan due up against the left-hander out of Ohio University, Jerry Salisbury. Off to a good start. Called strike one on that outer third. Dobson on this season is tied for 7th with 14 hits. The biggest part of his game at the moment is the speed, as he's 6 for 6 on the base pass, and not only is that the most in the league, but also perfect. So for Jerry Salisbury, do everything he can today to keep Dobson off of the base paths, as he's got him quickly down 0-2. Brings the high fastball at 88 miles an hour upstairs. But that was about the perfect 0-2 spot in terms of a fastball. Still right at the top of that strike zone, but not low enough for some of these hitters to catch up to, as Salisbury on the 0-2. And again, a little bit more inside, but still up with the fastball. Would be shocked to see him bring anything but a curveball coming up here.
Yeah, we know Salisbury doesn't have necessarily the best velocity. His fastball ranges from about 87 to 91 tops. So he actually goes with the fastball there, but more known as a finesse guy that will use that slider changeup combo. Also a curve once in a while.
Goes downstairs with the fastball this time around. So count him 6 straight fastballs to Dobson. Salisbury does throw that 4-seam 60% of the time and the 2-seam 11%. So 71% of the time you're going to expect a fastball if you're Westside today, as the 2-2 pitch hit into left center field. Nick Campana out there in center, ranging it down to make the catch for out number 1. Whisker standing in now. Your pick, the stick contestant, had the home run last night. It was 1 for 4. He's he has 5th most hits in the league this year with 15, and the 8th best batting average at .312 coming into play this afternoon. Salisbury with the backdoor breaking ball. First off-speed pitch we've seen from him this afternoon as Whisker admires it. Down in the count, 0-1 he goes. Whisker, like we mentioned, as he looks at ball 1, the 2018 co-player of the year, had the runner-up in the home run derby contest. Guy who can pretty much do it all. Hit his first home run of the season last night. But overall, 14 hits through 44 at-bats as he fouls off the 1-1 pitch. Just 4 RBIs, though, for Whisker, something he's going to want to work on. And it helps when you got a guy like Dobson ahead of you in the lineup, but don't see him on base here, which is something we don't say often. The 1-2 in the dirt, it's 2-2.
Yeah, and Whisker was off to a really tough start this season, but really turned things around last week, earned that USPBL Player of the Week honor for the first time this season.
As the breaking ball misses low and inside, back-to-back, couple of good eyes from Whisker, so he works the full count. You see a lot of room up the middle. The shortstop, Adon Ordonez, now he steps to his left a bit, was shaded more towards that 5-6 hole as the payoff pitch at the top of the strike zone. Whisker fouls it off. From left to right in the outfield, it's Weiss in left, Campana in center, Smith in right, TJ Ward and Adon Ordonez on the left side, Kemp and Haffey over there on the right. This one ricocheting off of Salisbury's glove. Won't be an easy play for Adon Ordonez, but he completes it. Great defense there from the Beavers shortstop, and with a little bit of help from his starting pitcher Salisbury, who in the end helps himself out.
Yeah, definitely fortunate that one deflected off the glove of Salisbury there, because Rich had just mentioned that defensive alignment. There was a ton of room up the middle as Ordonez was shaded to his right and Kemp was shaded to his left, so Whisker definitely recognized that, but kudos to Salisbury for getting the glove on it.
This one won't get any gloves on it as it falls down into right field. Jake Polshan, who had not played in the game last night, has some fresh legs, some fresh eyes, and a fresh swing there. The 2-out knock gives us our technical first base runner of the day. As we mentioned, Ryan Kemp led the game off with a single but was thrown out at second base on the same play. And now we'll see what Jake Barbie can do, batting from the left side. Yesterday we saw 5 lefties in the Westside lineup. Today we see just 4. Barbie being one of them. Cortez, Smith, and Rivera the others. As Barbie tied for third in the league with 4 doubles on the season. He's tied actually with the man that's on deck behind him in Javon Shelby. Barbie last night was batting in the 5th spot, was over 3, but did have a walk alongside his 2 strikeouts. Tied for first in the league with 10 RBIs. An opportunity to drive in 1 or 2 here. Can't do it. Fouls off the 0-1. It's 0-2.
And if you remember, he almost had that double in one of his last at-bats last night. It was kind of a controversial call that just snuck foul according to that infield umpire, but almost another double for Barbie, but has been hitting the ball well so far this season.
The 0-2 to Barbie in the dirt. Just behind Gauthier it goes, but Polshan, not the fleetest of foot. He stays put. That one just underneath Gauthier, but he gets just enough of it on it to keep it in the vicinity. Barbie is ready now for the 1-2. Lefty-lefty matchup. I'm going advantage Salisbury in this situation. And that was the reason that he came in relief against the Unicorns on Thursday. There was a lot of lefties coming up towards the back end of the game. And it was also his bullpen day. So they said, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone as one of the relievers for Birmingham Bloomfield. That, of course, being Gabe Berman. Hurt at the moment. I'm not sure exactly what with, but with him being out, Salisbury stepped right up to the plate, or should I say mound in this case, as he's ready to get back at the starting role. The 1-2 to Barbie. Fastball elevated, but it's going to get down into the left center gap this time. Polshan getting on his horse, rounding second, headed to third, staying at first is Barbie. Back-to-back singles. Bring runners to the corners. Good sign for Westside, who is desperately looking for their 4th win of the season.
Yeah, and we talk about Jake Barbie's calm approach up there at the plate. He's down in the count 1-2, but he just goes with that calm, cool demeanor that you definitely like to see. Really a sign of maturity for Barbie, who really has been a lot better offensively this season than he was last season. He just hit 248, but has picked the average up, came in hitting 286, so probably sitting just below 300 right now. A good bat in this lineup for Mark Wiedemeyer.
Javon Shelby standing in, looks at ball 1 to begin the at-bat. Of course, the man that's got that experience in affiliated ball, like we've said, drafted out of high school, but well known for his pop of his bat. He's got power behind him as the 1-0 pitch outside corner called strike 1. It's even. Salisbury definitely want to be careful here. Javon Shelby, good fastball hitter, but the last thing you want is to leave a breaking ball over the heart of the plate because he can do much with that as well. The 1-1, fastball missing up and away. It's now 2-1. Shelby in the game last night was batting in the 6th hole, gets moved up one spot here today. He was over 3 with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Would love to see anything but a strikeout if you're the Mammoths' sake here, as the 2-1 at 88 swung on and missed. Salisbury looking sharp outside of the 2 singles he's given up with 2 outs. In terms of his approach to these hitters, it's there. Just Polshan and Barbie got good swings on some of his fastballs. As we're ready for the 2-2, we'll see if Barbie tries to go anywhere. Does not. Fastball missing, low and away, so he will be going somewhere now with the count rung full, 2 outs, and a force out at second base. As you see Salisbury getting some grip on that baseball.
And Shelby's going to have to shorten up here. He took a big hack before that last ball that was in there, so look for him to shorten up the swing, maybe try to drive something into the outfield.
Won't do it here. The 87-mile-an-hour fastball swung on and missed. Salisbury strands 2 singles with 2 outs here in the first. We head to the second. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. As we head to the second inning, the league leader in doubles coming up to the plate in Haranek, as first pitch to him, a called strike. Thomas Muratori back out for a second inning of work. Just 8 pitches in that first frame, as we do see a little bit of weather falling. Javon Shelby trying to make a miraculous play with the throw across the body, running to his right. Haranek hustling down that first baseline. Something we don't say all that often, but Haranek with the infield single. Nice sign there for the big fella. Getting the leadoff man on, as Adon Ordonez now coming up to the plate in the highest he's been in this lineup this season. Mentioned how Muratori had just 8 pitches in that first frame, 1 less pitch than Salisbury had balls in that home half. The first 25 pitches for Salisbury. As standing in here now, Ordonez looks at the first pitch. It's called strike 1. Not a bad opportunity to try and maybe lay one down, but at the same time, you understand the approach from Chris Newell, the manager of the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, one of the better hitting instructors, not just in the league, but in the state. As the 0-1, here it comes. Fastball missing high and away. Did not expect to see at least consistent rain. Saw that at one point that the percentages were pretty low, and right now it says it's not raining in Utica, but the eyes say other. Yeah,
you never know, and we've had pretty rainy spring. Seems like almost every day up until really this week. It has rained pretty much every day of the spring, but yeah, not expected here, but playing through it. It's not too bad out there.
Yeah, May showers bring June baseball, as I'm pretty sure I heard it rained about 22 days in the month of May. So hoping for a brighter month of June, as looks as if it's going to hold off. Maybe just a big rain cloud coming over, as the 1-2 to Ordonez fastball left upstairs. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Ordonez with a pretty good game against the Unicorns back on Thursday. 1 for 3 for him, so moves up a few spots. Despite the low batting average, he does have a .321 on base percentage, so not too shabby.
Hanging breaking ball in there is Ethan Whisker. Underneath it, ranges and makes the catch with ease. Hranek staying at first. Adam Gauthier standing in now, was over 4 on Thursday, but tied for first with Barbie for the league lead with 10 RBIs.
Yeah, and also another guy just like Ordonez with a pretty low batting average coming into the game, .225, but a .347 on base percentage. Gauthier has also sent 2 out of the park this season.
First pitch, and we're seeing that a little bit more consistently in this top of the second inning. Muratori missing up a bit. Obviously, I'm guessing that the weather having maybe something to do with it. Also mentioned a couple of times so far this season as the outside corner is painted. Director of Baseball Operations Justin Orenduff raising the pitcher's mound 2 inches in a light of focusing on the dynamics of pitching. Mentioned how in the 3+ years at Jimmy John's Field, we've only had one major pitching injury. That was Devin Alexander of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers in the first couple of seasons, but he had already had some lingering issues coming into the USPBL, so kudos there to Justin Orenduff and his crew as the 2-1 to Gauthier swung on and missed at 87, count now even. But the Mammoths would love to see a ground ball that could lead to 2 here. Gauthier not the fleetest of foot, about average speed. Of course, he's the catcher. Muratori giving one long look there to Hranek. Got to imagine he's not going anywhere. Maybe a hit and run, the only reason he would, as this breaking ball at 78, just getting a piece of it, was Gauthier. We stay even here at 2-2.
And going back to that raised mound, we have talked about the pitchers having to make an adjustment because of that. Do you think the hitters also have to make an adjustment? I know you were used as a pitcher really primarily in college, but it's got to be an adjustment for the hitters as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're facing up against a person like maybe Austin Steinfort or something like that, in terms of, I mean, the higher you're up, the more power and the more drive you have able to come down on the mound and into the batter's box with the pitch. So it definitely gives an advantage to pitchers, I think, as well. Just not sure exactly how much with it being just 2 inches. But, hey, you know what? Baseball is a game of inches. So with that being said, at the moment, it definitely does give an advantage to these pitchers as Gauthier swings and misses for out number 2. TJ Ward now standing in. He looks at called strike 1 that hits the inner part of the plate. The 0-1. This one inside, more up, as Ward kind of freezes and turns the head. Both of these pitches have been inside, so if I'm Ward, try and maybe pull something here, as you see Dobson, the shortstop, shaded in that 5-6 hole. A lot of room up the middle to put something into play. Is this one inside as well? Great job from Jackson Smith to not just keep that one around him, but also you see him immediately look over there at first base, allowing the base runners to know that he's got his eye on them and sort of keeping the baseball in his vicinity in terms of his outlook as the 2-1 to Ward. Ground ball up the middle, and there it goes. That shade towards third for Dobson proves to be costly as runners now on first and second. Hranek with the leadoff single, now Ward with the 2-out single. And it brings up the hometown kid in Todd Weiss.
Another great approach there from a Mammoth hitter. TJ Ward recognizing that defensive alignment, uses it to his advantage right up the middle. The ball wasn't hit very hard. Would have been a routine ground ball if it was hit more directly at one of the Mammoth infielders, but Beavers with a good approach right here.
So we'll see if Weiss can take advantage with runners on. Mentioned how the offense for the Beavers not up to the par for the standards of Chris Newell, but given the hometown kid the opportunity in this situation, fouls off the first opportunity that he sees. Weiss playing in just his third start of the season in the 12th game for the Beavers. So 3 for his first 10 on the season. One of his hits is for an extra base hit, a double. He's got 3 strikeouts and 1 walk on the year. Is this one in on the hands at 89, fouled off as home plate umpire Mr. Jim Mulick asking for more baseballs at the moment. Might be needing to use a couple extra of those here today. But Muratori with a good start to this battle with him and Weiss. I mentioned these two teams at the bottom of the standings trying to make a name for themselves here in this 2019 season. Weiss ready for the 0-2. Muratori bringing it. Another fastball in on the hands at 89 again. This one in foul territory. Jake Barbie underneath it makes the catch for the third and final out. The 2 singles go unscathed in the top of the second. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Getting right into it here in the home half of the second. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Salisbury out there for his second inning of work. Already 25, now 26 pitches as Cortez fouls off the first try. 16 of them for strikes, 9 for balls in that first frame for the left-hander. Did have a strikeout, stranded 2 singles that came with 2 outs in that home half of the first. Cortez on the 1-1. Fouls off that 88-mile-an-hour fastball, but overall tremendous stuff we're seeing from the lefty Sonny Cortez, who came into yesterday's contest with the .415 batting average. It did drop down with his 1-for-4 night, but the positive of it, he hit his first home run. As the 1-2 fouled off, just staying alive is Cortez.
Yeah, comes in still leading the league, not only in batting average, but also on base percentage at a .534 mark. Second in hits, with 18, only behind Pat Adams of the Hoppers, who has 19.
The 1-2 missing, evens it up at 2-2. This pitch at 88 again. Seeing that sort of consistently from Salisbury this afternoon, right about 88, 89. Cortez trying to make the most of that pitch with 2 strikes, but a better job from Salisbury. That one well in on the hands, but still close enough for Cortez to have to go after it. The 2-2, outside fastball, the changeup, as Cortez starts his day off with a base knock. Haven't been saying that all too often. Little sarcasm there, but I mean Cortez, he's got. I mean, I was saying yesterday he's not necessarily the 5-tool player because the power hasn't been there, but we saw it evident last night. So sort of, trying to make that name for himself and arguably one of the best position players we've seen in our time here at Jimmy John's Field.
And a great at bat, fouling off some pitches, then gets the mistake pitch and does not miss it. Steve Pasquale now standing in 2 for 3 last game against the Hoppers last night. So low batting average for him, but picked it up last night with a couple of hits.
Meanwhile, Salisbury doing the quick pick over there, keeping tabs on Cortez, as that one almost overthrown to Ross Haffey at first. Cortez on the season does have 3 stolen bases, as Pasquale shows bunt, pulls back, count evens up at 1-1.
And Pasquale was with the Bakersfield Train Robbers in the Pecos League last year. A great batting average for him, not a lot of power, but .339 with 41 runs batted in just 58 games helped lead his team to a championship.
This one won't be an easy play. You're going to have to make one split-second decision there, Will Ordonez, and he ends up going to first with it to retire Pasquale. Cortez with too much speed and a good secondary lead, getting him into second base with that slow chopping ground ball. Pasquale gets him over, so you got 2 out of 3 done. You got him on, you've gotten him over, and now it's time for either Jackson Smith or Ryan Rivera to get him in. As Smith, standing from the left side, was batting in the leadoff spot yesterday, but dropping down into the 8th spot. This one on a line into right. It's going to get into the corner. Coming in to score with ease will be Cortez. And the Mammoths first to strike here in this one, as pumping the brakes at second is Smith. Was just counted 1 for 4 yesterday with a single. But the Mammoths offense coming to life here on this Sunday with the 2 hits in this home half of the second off of a good pitcher in Salisbury.
Yeah, and it's a different lineup that we are seeing from Mark Wiedemeyer today, moving some lefties lower in the lineup with Barbie in the 4 spot, Cortez in the 6 spot, and Smith in the 8 spot, but still able to produce. This is a pretty dangerous bottom half of the lineup still for the Westside Woolly Mammoths.
So the first pitch to Rivera misses the zone. Good eye there from the left fielder. Rivera coming to us all the way from Saddlebrook, New Jersey, as the 1-0 fouled off into the protective netting. Went to Caldwell University. In the bottom of this order between Cortez, Pasquale, Smith, and Rivera, you got 3 out of 4 being lefties against Salisbury. The 1-1 chopped. Going to be a tough hop there for Ross Haffey. Good job by Salisbury to field his position, getting those PFPs in, as Smith does move over to third base. So the put out not going unnoticed. Now it's back to the top of the order in Dobson, who flew out to Nick Campana for out number 1 back in the first.
Yeah, Dobson looking for his first hit today. Was held hitless yesterday, 0 for 3, but did drive in 1. It was the first run of the game for the Mammoths with that sac fly. So good situational hitting for Dobson here, but he'll have to get a base hit to try to drive in this run.
So Dobson with a good start to this at-bat, getting ahead in the count. Salisbury on first pitches this year against hitters, 42 strikes to just 26 balls coming into play today. So that's a good ratio, but doesn't get it here to the leadoff man in Dobson, as he takes a healthy cut, hands a little bit behind that pitch as it evens up at 1-1. But all you need is a simple single to drive in what would be the second run of the game for your team. And with the way Muratori's throwing, he did have 20 pitches in the top of the second, but no one has made it past second base against him. As Thompson ready for the 1-1, breaking ball, and look at that, he holds that bat back, thought about it, but did everything he could to keep that one behind the plate, and he does so. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and the hitters up there know that Salisbury does go to that fastball most of the time, so that's even a tougher take there for Dobson on that curveball offering. He might have to look for a fastball right here.
2-1, and there is that fastball, but it's left up and out of the strike zone. And I know Salisbury's not a guy who walks a lot, doesn't want to walk people. He doesn't have a walk just yet today. Dobson did work a long 2-2 count where he had 3 foul balls against Salisbury. This one's going to stay in between the lines as Weiss trying to make a catch on the run, and in fact he will. Todd Weiss using his speed to save a run, and because of it, the Mammoths will only get the one run in the home half of the second. We head to the third. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through two at the ballpark on this Sunday matinee contest. Rich Borland back with Leo Ortel. Ryan Smith, the 9-hole hitter, getting his first try of the afternoon. Looks at ball one to begin this at-bat. Smith, Kemp, and Campana, 2 Ryans and a Nick, due up for Birmingham Bloomfield. Muratori, meanwhile, starts off Smith with 2 straight balls to miss the zone low. 28 pitches through the first 2 frames, 20 of them for strikes, 2 strikeouts to no walks. He's allowed the 3 hits, but he's been able to spread out those singles and not allow any runs to come in to score. The name of the game, you don't want to let the runs in no matter how many hits you give up. So a good job from Muratori so far the first time through the lineup as he's trying to complete it here. But this one, back up the middle, it's going to get into center as that'll be the 4th single of the day for the Beavers, as Smith in that sort of double leadoff role at the bottom of the lineup, doing his job effectively, as it'll be Kemp's turn. My pick the stick contestant already on the day, 1 for 1 with the single, but was thrown out at second as he tried to extend it into a double.
And out of those 4 hits now, 3 of them coming with the first batter in the inning. So 3 leadoff singles for the Beavers is how you want to start, but they haven't been able to really put together a threatening inning yet, but a good opportunity here with Kemp's second try at it.
Healthy cut there from Kemp, but no cigar on that one. Kemp out of Middle Tennessee State. He actually played with a friend of mine who was a coach on the High Point Thomasville High Toms back in 2017. He hits another shot over there to left. Ryan Rivera more prepared this time around, but almost the exact same instance that we saw in the first inning, except just a little bit more shallow, and also Rivera playing a little bit deeper on the leadoff hitter. But either way, good contact from Kemp. As the first out of the inning is recorded. Nick Campana's turn to battle up against Muratori. Mentioned he's battling that eye issue. Actually, in that last game for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, got a message there from his father, John, who I'm sure is listening. Said his left eye was completely blurred, and he went to the ophthalmologist. But either way, this one into left field. Don't need two eyes for that. That's a rope down that third base line, and that is now the fifth single of the day for Birmingham Bloomfield. Consistency is key, but if you're Thomas Muratori, you got to do everything you can to try and get a ground ball that could lead to an inning-ending double play, because if you don't give up a ground ball here, chances are it's not going to be in your favor. Ross Haffey not getting out a lot so far in a short time with Birmingham Bloomfield.
Yeah, and Muratori, we know he has the ability to strike out hitters, already with 2 so far through 2 1/3 inning of work. But 16 strikeouts coming in and just 15 1/3, 14 hits given up. So he can be a pitch-to-contact guy. He can be a strikeout pitcher, which you definitely like to see. But, yeah, Haffey, a great start to his USPBL career after playing in the Frontier League last year and struggling. He's definitely trying to make a name for himself here to reach affiliated baseball, but we know he's got that great extra base power potential.
As Haffey looks at the second consecutive pitch out of the zone. Yeah, you mentioned Muratori, a guy who can throw strikeouts. In fact, tied for 8th in the league with 16 of them coming into play today. Of course, now at 18. The right-hander down in this count, though, 2-0 to a tough Ross Haffey out. Got to be careful and sort of paint a corner, but he won't be able to here. 3 straight. Now to the big fella. Got to imagine he's going to get the take sign with runners on first and second. Last thing you'd want to see is a inning-ending double play on a 3-0 count. But Muratori's got to deliver a strike here, and he won't. That one up and in. Just the first walk of the day allowed by Haffey, so the bases are loaded. Dam is full of Beavers, as pretty much the man you'd probably want up at the plate with bases loaded. Your cleanup hitter, this is why you put him here. The men ahead of him have been able to get on. And now it's his turn to drive them all in and give the Beavers their first run or runs of the game, as on the season for Jack Haranek. So far, if we take a quick look at his line, does have 1 home run on the season, just the 4 RBIs, but could double up on both of those categories with 1 swing of the bat. We'll see if he can do it here.
Yeah, this is definitely the guy you want up, the left-handed batter facing off against the right-hander that doesn't throw very hard. Also a great at-bat there for Haffey, coming off that strikeout swinging to draw the walk. He didn't have to do much looking at 4 straight, but kudos to him for getting on base to load him up for a great hitter in Haranek, now in his 2nd season here in the USPBL.
Haranek already 1 for 1 with the single to right, so he's got a good eye up there at the plate this afternoon. Whisker trying to come in, might be an opportunity to get 2 for the price of 1. The throw coming home, it's going to not be in time. Scoring just in the nick of time is Ryan Smith. So Haranek does take another shot to right. This time it can't stay down, but he will knock that one down in the books as a sacrifice fly out and drive in the first run of the game for Birmingham Bloomfield. Moving up to third was Campana, but Haffey staying put at first. Wasn't sure if Barbie was going to cut that one off, but he had his eyes on him. But with the opportunity at the plate, he let it ride on through. Shocked that Haffey didn't at least try for second after the throw, but either way, runners on the corners now with 2 outs, and Adon Ordonez standing in 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. First pitch, breaking ball. You saw Smith trying to frame that one up on the outside corner, but home plate umpire Jim Mulick says, good try, love the effort, not going to get it there. Infield, outfield at normal depth, wind non-existent this afternoon as it's a little muggy, but overall a great day for baseball. Had a small instance of a little showers earlier for about, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, but overall, looks like we're going to be okay as Ordonez ready for the 2-0. Muratori brings it. This one lined into center. Won't be an easy play for Cortez, and he was playing a little bit towards right center. Coming in to score with ease is Campana. Haffey's getting sent home, but he's kind of slowing up. Maybe a play at the plate, but not in time. Smith kind of coming up out of the baseline to catch that one. Maybe if he stayed in the line, would have been able to make the tag, but instead, 2 runners coming in, both Campana and Haffey. 2 RBI base knock for Adon Ordonez with the double. Great stuff there from the shortstop, and the Beavers out in front 3-1.
And that's the risk you take with that defensive alignment playing Adon Ordonez shallow. They know he doesn't have a lot of power, but if that ball finds the gap, it's definitely dangerous. And when you got 2 runners on like that, it's even larger of a risk for the team. So the defensive alignment not paying off there for Mark Wiedemeyer and the Mammoths.
The 1-0 to Gauthier. Fastball at 87 misses upstairs quickly. 2-0. Number 23 struck out swinging for out number 2 back in the second. And with that runner on second base in Ordonez, Smith going out there to speak with Muratori. I actually think this is more of a confidence boost because we've had runners on second for Birmingham Bloomfield today, and they've already gone through the signs. So this is more of a motivational pep talk there for Smith. At least it looks like it as he grabs onto the rosin bag, does Muratori back onto the bump. Desperately needing a strike on this 2-0. Here it comes. There it goes. Swung on and missed. Nice cut from Gauthier, but a better selection there from Muratori, keeping it on that inner third. Brings the count to 2-1. Pretty good crowd on tap for this afternoon's contest. Both left, right field, as well as Chevy. Our 3 patio areas completely sold out this afternoon. So a big house on this great Sunday afternoon for baseball as Muratori trying to get back into this count, but also trying to avoid his second walk of the inning, but he won't be able to do it here. So the wheel's starting to loosen for the right-hander as no one is officially getting loose in the bullpen. It's still early, and we mentioned Muratori in just his 3rd start as it's his 8th appearance on the year, but got to limit the walks and the timely hitting there for the Beavers in this inning, courtesy of Adon Ordonez, as well as the singles from Campana and Smith. Might see Adon Ordonez up in this lineup more often. This one, you hear the broken bat. The third baseman, Steve Pasquale, with the routine grounder to third, retires T.J. Ward for the 3rd and final out, but the Beavers put up 8 batters in that top of the 3rd. They get the 3 runs on the, count 'em, 3 hits. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the bottom of the third we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Ethan Whisker standing in your pick the stick contestant for this one, Leo, as he's over 1, but because of Jerry Salisbury, as he hit that hard ground ball back up the middle in that first inning, but unfortunately it ricocheted off of Salisbury's glove, went to Ordonez at short, and it was in the end a 1-6-3 putout. As he looks at ball 2 here, it's now 2-1.
Yeah, good at bat for him the first time around. Like we mentioned earlier, his first home run of the season. Last night it came in his 4th at bat. He takes a healthy cut right there. But he was 0 for 3. The Mammoths were down, so maybe just trying to send something out, and did not miss the mistake pitch. 2-2 count on him here.
Fastball at 87, in on the hands. It's going to have enough to get up out of play right actually near our baseball buddies team that came out this afternoon. And looks like the hits are out in the ballpark today. The hits, one of the local organizations for Federation ball, as Whisker evens the count up at 2-2. Takes this one high out there to left field. It's definitely enough to get out, but unfortunately well foul for the Mammoth's sake. It remains 2-2.
I definitely had the distance on that one. Has to straighten it out. Would have been a moonshot for him. Looking for that second home run of the season. Last season, like we mentioned, the USPBL Player of the Year, and he had 10 home runs. He was second in home runs in the league and first in RBIs, also tied for second in doubles. But not a ton of extra base hits for him this year. Most of them have been singles.
And this one well away, misses the zone low. So coming full circle now. Good at bat here for Whisker no matter the result. But of course he'll feel a lot better if he gets on base here. The payoff pitch. This one down the line. Look out. As that one into the patio area as the count remains full. Another good at bat here for Whisker. He worked, counted 7-pitch at-bat in the first, and already with 7 pitches in the at-bat here. So the 15th pitch of the day that Whisker has seen in just 2 bats is this one. Right down Broadway in center field. Campana perfectly lined up with home, the pitcher's mound, second base. But right in front of that warning track makes the catch for out number 1. Big fly, but no cigar for Whisker for out number 1.
Yeah, not a bad piece of contact there. Just got a little bit under it. It'll be Jake Polshin's turn. Polshin did not start the game last night. He came in as a pinch hitter for Stephen Wells Jr. But Polshin 0 for 1 yesterday with a strikeout, 1 for 1 already with a single today.
Looks at a bending breaking ball there from Salisbury as he drops in the curveball for the first time in this at-bat, or excuse me, for the first pitch in this at-bat. Drops it in there again, but this one just a bit lower. Better eye there from Polshan as Salisbury trying to change the eye level of the right-hander. The 1-1. Fastball, yes he did. No he did not. Thought he had for sure, but there's a reason I'm up here and Gary Wagenschutz is down on the bases. The first base umpire, the veteran here with us, calling that no cigar there. Salisbury a shake. Fastball back up the middle, dropping into shallow center field, keeping Nick Campana busy. Polshan with his second consecutive single, and of course, he being the beer batter of the game, $5 Zatuna craft beer in that garden. Altus, Saugatuck, go get your $5 craft beers. It's the last here for the remaining inning. Barbie standing in, also 1 for 1 with a single.
He was 0 for 3 last night. We mentioned how he almost had that double, but tied in RBIs in the league so far this year with Adam Gauthier of the Beavers. So has been very productive so far this season.
And what we're seeing at the moment, Salisbury starting now through his second time through the lineup, throwing more off-speed pitches to some of these guys as Barbie holds back on that one, doesn't go through. The count now 2-0. So you see a curveball that misses, a fastball that misses. Got to imagine that the fastball is going to be coming here. If I'm Jake Barbie, I'm going to lock in and be ready to take one for a ride. Salisbury the 2-0. Fastball, there it was at 87, right where you want it, but Barbie couldn't get all the wood on it. Count now at 2-1 on number 20.
And we are seeing quite a few late swings from most of the hitters, even though his fastball only tops out at about 91, usually comes in at around 88 or 89, but definitely seems to have some good action on it, which is what you want. It's not just the typical straight fastball. It has some movement on it, which is what you need when you have a little bit lower velocity than most guys.
So the count evening up at 2-2. Barbie swings through the second strike. But man, wouldn't the Mammoths love to see him take the official lead in doubles on this season to drive in a run here as the 2-2 fouled off at 87 into the netting. Salisbury coming into this third inning with 40 pitches, but he's already thrown 8 to Whisker, 4 to Polshan, and now 5 to Barbie. I'd be shocked to see him pass this fifth inning, as he had 2 innings as a part of a bullpen, a live bullpen, back on Thursday against the Corns, as this hanging breaking ball lofted near that bullpen, as this one's going to get into the patio area. Another foul ball from Barbie, second good at-bat of the day, no matter the result.
And you mentioned that he is trying to mix up his pitches a little bit more, going more with some off-speed stuff, as he does tend to throw that fastball about 70% of the time. But this is the first time that he is facing the Mammoths so far this season, so they haven't seen him yet. They don't know exactly what he's got, but still, when you're facing hitters for the second and third times, you have to mix it up a little bit more to be effective. You can't be throwing the same pitches and the same counts every time you go out there.
Yeah, Salisbury on the season had 3 starts against the Diamond Hoppers and just 1 against the Unicorns. Mentioned he's coming off his only relief outing, an inning of work back on the 6th just 3 days ago. But we've had only 1 start so far for Salisbury where he's allowed less than 1 run, or excuse me, less than 2 runs. Let's try that again, but he hasn't been able to go more than 6 innings. He's got 3 different starts with 6 innings. He's pitched good, but not good enough to be in line for victories, as maybe sometimes he hasn't been able to get as much run support as he's getting here today with the 3 runs in the top of this third inning. But the count is rung full. Barbie looks at ball 3, nowhere to put him. Got to make the most of your opportunity here. The payoff pitch fouled off. We'll do it all over again. Barbie now with count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitches in this at-bat.
And this is what the Mammoths need to do. They need to battle against him if they want to take Salisbury out of this game early and go to that bullpen, which hasn't been all that effective this season. And we know that there is a few injuries in the bullpen for the Beavers, so not all there.
Look at this here. Polshan trying to catch the pitcher Salisbury off guard. Salisbury at the last second seeing it, recognizing it, and going to first base with it. Good job there from Ross Haffey to follow it up for the 1-3-6 putout for out number 2. And now Salisbury just 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. And he's going to get it there. Barbie can't believe it, but that one in on the hands, enough for called strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning unconventionally for Salisbury as we're through 3 at Jimmy John's Field. Beavers out in front 3-1. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 3 at Jimmy John's Field. The 3 spot for the Beavers in the third, giving them this 3-1 lead. Todd Weiss, the only batter to not reach the box in that third inning, so he gets things going in the top of the fourth. Shows bunt on the second pitch, but he pulls it back for called strike 2. Quickly down in the count, 0-2, even though Smith could not hold on to that pitch. Muratori with already 50 pitches through 3 innings, and in total through the first 3 innings, we've had 111 pitches between the two as the 0-2 misses the zone. Good eye there from Weiss.
Yeah, Weiss hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities so far this year. Came into the game with that 300 batting average, but just 10 at-bats, so 3 for 10. 1 extra base hit, which was a double, and a pair of singles.
This one popped up into shallow right center field. Whisker calling it ahead of Cortez, so quickly 1 up and 1 down for Muratori, who, even though he's given up more runs, technically pitching, I would say, almost a little bit better than Salisbury, but it's just that pitch count. I mean, 61 through 3 for Salisbury, even though he hasn't allowed a walk. He's only got 2 strikeouts, and he's been able to spread these hits for the Mammoths out, as they've got already 5 in 3 innings, but just the 1 run to show for it. As Ryan Smith standing in at the bottom of the Beaver lineup, looks at called strike 1. He's 1 for 1 on the day with a single and a run scored. Came in to score on that sacrifice flyout from Haranik as he swings through the 0-1. Quickly now 0-2. Muratori consistently throwing strikes. Mentioned he throws them 62% of the time. And he gets a 38% ground ball rate. Haven't seen a ton of those here today. The 0-2 to Smith. Breaking ball looked good. Good frame there, too, from Smith, but no dice there from home plate umpire Jim Mulick.
And you can see Muratori trying to develop a better pace out there. Smith was trying to kind of take his time in the box, but Muratori trying to get back on his game here, maybe work a little bit faster as he continues this outing, which hasn't been the best outing for him. A couple of walks and the 3 spot for the Beavers last inning.
This one, fastball outside again, just missing a couple of close pitches there for Smith, or excuse me, there for Muratori. But a good eye from Smith on a couple of these close calls. And this one in the dirt. Smith, though, can't hold back. Jackson Smith telling Barbie to go to the outside, and they make the strikeout complete. 2 up and 2 down for Muratori, looking for his second 1-2-3 inning, but first conventional one in this outing.
He definitely needed this inning, too. The Mammoths used quite a few relief pitchers last night, so maybe their bullpen a little bit tired here this afternoon, especially coming off the night game, so even less rest as they're playing this afternoon game here. We're seeing a few guys right now in the pen, no one actually throwing, kind of just getting loose out there. Ryan Kemp now at the dish. I'm sure the Beavers are happy to have his bat and speed back in this top of the lineup.
Already the 1 single back in the first. Breaking ball, great pitch there from Thomas Muratori. That was a textbook breaking ball. Already ahead in the count, 0-1 on it. Kemp unable to pull the trigger. He's going to have to now on the 0-2. And there it is, a great inning there for Muratori as it looks as if he's going to be able to make it through the 5th. We have a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 4th. We head to the home half. Mammoths with Shelby, Cortez, Pasquale coming up. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the bottom of the fourth we go. Shelby, Cortez, Pasquale. 2 up for Westside. On the day thus far, Shelby 0 for 1 with a swing and miss strikeout on a full count. He is 0 for his last 4 with 4 strikeouts, accompanied from last night's contest as the 1-0 fastball looked good, maybe a little bit up in the zone, but Shelby unable to make any contact. It's 1-1. Salisbury trying to work quickly. Shelby slowly getting back into the box. See who the advantage lies upon here. Breaking ball, hung, Shelby taking it, just foul down that left field line. It was a hair early, and it showed with the result.
I kind of just caught it off the end of the bat there. Didn't have really the typical sound. You might hear the normal crack of the bat. But Shelby has been taking some pretty big cuts lately. He's kind of trying to supply his own power, knowing that Salisbury doesn't throw that fast. But honestly, he's got the power there. Doesn't have to swing harder, just has to make contact.
So he makes contact on the 1-2, but not where you want it to go. Fouls this one off into the protective netting behind home plate. 3-1 your score. Mammoths got out in front in the home half of the second with an RBI double off the bat of Jackson Smith, but a 3 spot in the third for the Beavers have given them the 3-1 lead. Shelby 0 for his last 5 now with strikeouts counted on the day. Strikeout number 3 for Salisbury, second to Shelby, and also second consecutive as he ended the third with the strikeout to Barbie.
And maybe starting to turn around his outing. A pretty solid inning for him last time. So only the 1 earned run so far. The Mammoths scored first, but you don't always have to score first to win the game.
Cortez, hottest hitter in the USPBL, 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. But yeah, I mean, he had an effective third inning, did Salisbury. Got a 1-2-3 inning unconventionally after a single where Polshan was caught with the 1-3-6 putout. But in total, I mean, he had 21 pitches to just 3 batters in that third. You want to somehow find a way to effectively get these guys out without having to throw your whole arsenal and half your pitching in just a couple of innings, as the 1-1 fouled off. It's 1-2.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at a stat right now. This is the second game in a row that the Mammoths have scored first. According to some stats right here, 70% of the time the team that scores first will win the ball game over pretty much all levels of baseball. So, pretty interesting stat there, but the Mammoths just haven't been able to put together their offense so much in the public games this week. They had that non-public 16-run game against the Unicorns back on Tuesday, I believe it was. They put up 14 hits, but their offense has kind of gone cold these past couple.
Cortez, the exception of that, tries to hold off on the payoff pitch, as instead the base umpire Wagon Shoe says that he did in fact do enough to go around, as our good friend JJ, the field general, picking up that loose bat. Our bat dog, JJ, doing the job. And how about this? 3 consecutive strikeouts for Jerry Salisbury, and 4 on the day. Maybe an opportunity to strike out the side here in this fourth, but not if Steve Pasquale has anything to say about it. Just meek 136 batting average coming into play today, but the bright side was batting in the 9th spot yesterday against Eastside, and he had 2 singles. So maybe a good night turning into a good day, and look at that. This one into right center. Smith thinking about it, but will not be able to get to it, and in fact makes a big misplay as Pasquale is going to be heading into second. My question is it a single with an error, or do you have to give him the double, since technically Smith did not make contact with that ball, just a simple mental mistake. But overall, at least a base knock for Pasquale with 2 outs, and looks as if right now no error put up on the board. So at the moment, we're going to give Pasquale the double. Keep that in mind, though, as we continue on in this ball game. Salisbury unable to get his first 1-2-3 conventional inning in this one, as the first pitch to Jackson Smith, ball 1, misses high and away.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that Ryan Smith did not cut off that ball. Nick Campana in center field, nowhere close to the backup at that point. So pretty surprising to see that from Smith. hopefully it's not costly here.
That one hit hard, just foul to the right of the first baseline. Smith, one of those aggressive, eager hitters at the plate. Mentioned how we love his no batting glove approach. A guy who likes to pull the ball as well, so good opportunity. Would be even better if there were less than 2 outs, because if he did hit a grounder to the right side, it would be at least enough to get the runner over. Instead, this one up the middle, it's going to get through. Rounding third, headed for home is Pasquale. Jackson Smith delivers again. Drives in the second run of the game for himself, second run for the team. Jackson Smith having a really good day up at the plate and cutting the deficit to just 1.
A great approach there, recognizes that hole up the middle. But going back to that play in right field for Ryan Smith, really costly, especially with 2 outs that normally probably would not score the base runner Pasquale from second, but with 2 outs and good speed, no problem scoring for Pasquale without a throw.
And how about that nasty breaking ball from Salisbury, dropping the bender in on the first pitch to Rivera. You could see that swing. He was well out in front, and I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen here again. Instead, the fastball at 88 missing away, as you saw Gauthier try and frame that one up, but well enough outside to not get that one in there. Count even at 1-1. Smith on the season for Westside. Taking a quick look, has 1 stolen base attempt this year, but was caught stealing as Rivera fouls off the 1-1.
I got the 1-2 count now. Just went to the fastball. Already fooled him once with the breaking ball. I'd like to see him maybe throw something in the dirt. It's not a huge risk. Got a good backstop back there in Adam Gauthier to block it.
So on the 1-2, fouls it off, does Rivera. 0 for 1 coming into this at-bat with the ground out to first base. Back for the second out in the second. Salisbury already with 61 pitches coming into this inning. It's above 75 now. And my goodness, a last-second time call there for Rivera. Gets it apparently just in enough time, but for me it looked as if Salisbury was starting that motion almost at the exact same time.
And you could tell a little bit frustrated right here. Now I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see him go back to the fastball. Really try to throw one hard.
The 1-2. Instead, breaking ball just didn't break enough at 76. The count even at now 2-2. And if I'm Rivera, you have to just have that 2-strike approach. Doesn't matter what's coming, whether it's the fastball or the curveball or the changeup. You got to somehow put this ball in play and not end the inning on the 3rd strikeout, as this one low and away. Good stop from Gauthier.
Not a bad day last night for Rivera. 1 for 3 with the walk. He's got a good on-base percentage this year at .351. Would like to pick it up with the batting average.
This one back up the middle into the protective netting. Saw a flinch from my broadcast.
That one caught me off guard right there. That netting is basically invisible. We've talked about it a few times, the protective netting here at Jimmy John's Field. You can barely notice that it's there. So it does the job, but it's also great for the view of the fans in the stands and us here in the broadcast booth.
Payoff pitch taken high into right field. Ryan Smith finding it. Needs to make the catch, though, and he will, as Ryan Rivera flies out to Ryan Smith for the 3rd and final out, but not before Jackson Smith delivers again for Westside. He drives in Pasquale with the RBI single after his 2-out double. It's 3-2 Birmingham Bloomfield as we head to the 5th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 4 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland and Leo Ortel with you. It's 3-2 Birmingham Bloomfield. They got 3 in that third inning. And then on the outer and inner ends of that third inning, it was Westside, the Jackson Smith, the catcher, delivering the RBI double in the second and now the RBI single in the fourth, have provided the offense for Westside. Nick Campana, meanwhile, standing in. Mentioned he's battling that eye issue, but didn't matter in the third inning. First pitch swinging he was, and got a one-out single, and then eventually came in to score on that double from Adano Ordonez, as quickly working now the 3-1 count is the man out of Westchester, New York.
And 2 good at-bats for him. Really hit the ball hard back in the first when he lined out to right field. So 2 solid pieces of contact here. Won't have to make contact as he draws the walk.
So not a bad day thus far for Campana. Leadoff walk. Hate to hear that from a pitching standpoint. Only thing really worse than a no-out walk is a 2-out walk, as it'll be Haffey's turn. He, speaking of those walks, was the first walk of the day for Muratori in the third. Haffey off to that electric offensive start for Birmingham Bloomfield. Was in the cleanup spot last night, on Thursday, went 2 for 3 with a home run, a single, 2 RBIs. Also had a walk in that contest. Over there on first base, of course, is Campana. Campana on this season for Birmingham Bloomfield doesn't have any stolen bases, no tries either, as Haffey fouls off the 0-1. It's 0-2.
Yeah, Haffey back on Thursday, which was the last game for the Beavers. First home run of the season, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and also a walk. Great on-base percentage at .529. Already with 3 RBIs in as many games. Hasn't played a ton. So Haffey could be a big bat in this lineup. Definitely what the Beavers needed here earlier in the season, as they are kind of struggling this year.
The 0-2 to Haffey. Fastball at 89, missing that outside corner. Good pitch from Muratori, who comes into this 5th inning with 63 pitches. 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Both of the starters with 4 Ks under their belts, as Haffey ready for the 1-2. Fastball well outside this time around. It's now even at 2-2, but easy take there from Haffey. Got to be ready to swing at something now, because Muratori missed that pitch by a lot, so you know he's ready to bring a strike here on the 2-2. Haffey ready for it. Muratori, the kick, the push, breaking ball on the front door side of it. Stays in just enough. Great eye there from Haffey.
You definitely don't want to give back-to-back walks right here, especially with Jack Haranek, the left-hander, waiting on deck. So pitch him in the strike zone.
Hit and run action going on the payoff pitch. Campana sliding into second. Opportunity for a double play if Cortez can show off the arm, but instead a big hop keeps Barbie away from the bag, but a good try there from Cortez, as the first out of the inning is recorded. Campana, who was stealing on that pitch, didn't realize at first that the ball was hit into the field of play. Soonly realized it and got back on his horse, or Beaver, I should say, over to first, and motors his way back in time as Haranek, not your pick the stick contestant, got a little crossed up there. Haranek on the day, though, a single and an RBI sac fly. He'd be a good contestant for the pick the stick, as he looks at the first pitch he sees in this one. Muratori trying to retire him without any damage being done for the first time today. Campana still over there at first. Second pitch of the at-bat in the dirt. Count evens up at 1-1. Mentioned Haranek last year, his first year with Birmingham Bloomfield. Got off to that amazing start where he had hits in the first 12 games of the season. Had that 12-game hitting streak, which is, in fact, the longest at Jimmy John's Field in its history, as keeping tabs on Campana over there at first is Muratori.
Yeah, Haranek developed himself as one of the best hitters last year, 5th in batting average at the .277 mark. Also some power with 4 home runs. You'd like to see him maybe show off the power a little bit more this year. That bat's sawed off.
Kind of an awkward swing there as Muratori took some off of the gas as Haranek hit it off the end of the bat, and the end of the bat is no longer. Campana having to go back to first on this now 1-2 count. Little break in the action. Can talk quickly about next week's festivities as we have our first Wednesday game of the season. It will be these Mammoths taking on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers in a crosstown rivalry matchup. And then on Thursday, Hoppers again in action. They'll play against these Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers on Thursday. Harry Potter night that night. Also, then on Friday, Mammoths taking on the Unicorns as it's Nerf night, presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. Also a fireworks spectacular. Don't want to miss that one. Saturday, Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Utica. And then Sunday, Hoppers and Unicorns. The two teams not in action today as this one. How about the acrobatic leap there from the first baseman? Barbie retires the other first baseman in Haranek. But a good job there from Haranek. The one thing that I was wondering on that play, you saw Haranek working down that first baseline. If he sort of just lollygagged and gave up, Barbie could have maybe tried a little smooth play there because, of course, Campana having to stay put at first could have easily gotten a double play, but a good showing there from Haranek to work hard down the line to not force an inning-ending double play, even though he pops out to Barbie for out number 2. This time around, Ordonez with a hot bat, looking for his second hit of the day, and he gets it before I can even talk about it. Runners now on first and second as he drove in 2 with the double in the third, trying to come in to score now as he gets his second hit with the single there.
And clearly there was a reason behind him getting promoted in the lineup, hitting in the 5 spot. We usually see him in one of these 7, 8, or 9 slots, but Chris Newell, the manager of the Beavers, may have seen something in batting practice, but a hit for him last night, a pair of hits here. Things looking up for Ordonez, who's just trying to stay in the league with the low batting average, but still a good on-base percentage and having a good day for his team that still has that 3-2 lead.
Gauthier with the 0-for-1 day with the strikeout and the walk. Wouldn't be a bad thing to see a walk here for him as Muratori misses the zone the second consecutive time. This one upstairs as he's going to have to get a new baseball here. Sun's starting to show up a little bit here in this one. Muratori trying to get back into the strike zone on this 2-0. There it is. Fastball outside corner painting the black. Gauthier finally sees a strike in this count. Gauthier, the catcher, batting .225 on the season. Looking to bump that average up. He's got 2 home runs already. He mentioned he's got the league leading, tied for the league leading in 10 RBIs as Campana motoring around third and coming in to score the 4th run of the game for Birmingham Bloomfield as now officially the league leader with 11 RBIs is Gauthier coming through for his team with the RBI single and most importantly with 2 outs.
Yeah, and that leadoff walk coming around to haunt Thomas Muratori and the Mammoths. It looks like that's going to be it for his outing right here.
No official point just yet from the manager, Wiedemeyer, but that gate in that bullpen is open. It looks as if someone's going to be coming in, and in fact, the day will be done for Muratori. So we'll take a quick break, give you his final line, and then tell you about the man coming in to pitch for him. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. The day's done for Thomas Muratori. He goes the 4 2/3 innings through 82 pitches. Not the greatest of numbers, though. 4 earned runs on 8 hits, 3 walks allowed, and had the 4 strikeouts as Troy Whitty coming in for him. First pitch to TJ Ward, misses the zone. It's 1-0 on the right-hander out of Hartford.
And Troy Whitty last year pitched in the Pecos League. Not very good numbers for him. Just 6 2/3 innings, but did walk 12 batters, so clearly the control was an issue for him last season. But so far this year, just 1 2/3 innings of work, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, no earned runs, and 2 hits given up. So technically a 0 ERA coming in, but not a very large sample size. Definitely an interesting delivery. We have seen him before. He kind of flings that arm kind of past his shoulder and back there. Might be a little bit of deception for the hitters.
Finding the zone there is Whitty. Ward tried to sell the walk, get these bases loaded with 2 outs, but Whitty able to find the strike zone now. An opportunity to try and get out of this inning with just the 1 batter faced. Ground ball hit to the left side. Looks like it's going to get out of it, and in fact they do. Dobson to Shelby for the force out. At second to retire Gauthier, as we have gone through 4.5, 4-2 Birmingham Bloomfield. They get the 1 run on the 2 singles from Ordonez and Gauthier. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Jerry Salisbury out there for his 5th inning of work. He's going to have to deal with the top of the order in this 5th frame. Dobson with a pair of flyouts so far this afternoon, 1 to center and 1 to right field, as he's batting .298 coming into this game as the ball grounded to the right side. Kemp having to chuck that one over there to the first baseman, Ross Haffey, on the run with the throw foot, makes that tough play look easy. And with Dobson's speed, mentioned he's 6 for 6 on the base pass this year, accompanied with how slow that ball was hit. That was almost a textbook infield single for the leadoff man, but Kemp doing justice there to retire him, 1 up and 1 down.
Yeah, and that's not a play that's made by an average or below average second baseman. Kemp with great speed and reaction time, and also a pretty good arm over there, which you can't say for a ton of second basemen. That's a really tough play, and he just made it look pretty easy.
Here comes Ethan Whisker, one of the marquee players in the USPBL. Over 2 on the day thus far, though. Was robbed of a base knock back up the middle when Salisbury got just enough leather on the ball, which turned into the 1-6-3 ground out as O'Donnell Ordonez finished the job there. Flew out to center, but in total, as he fouls off the 2-0 pitch. Taking a quick look, give me a second here, Leo. We have already 18 pitches that Ethan Whisker has seen in 2.5 bats here today, which is tremendous in itself. Is this one. You hear the broken bat, into center it goes, and because maybe of the broken bat, it falls down for a single. They're not all pretty, but in the end, it's the first knock of the day for Whisker as he gets the base runner on with 1 out. Jake Polshin coming up to the plate. He's already 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, so you fans that like your beverages at the ballpark, your guy coming through for you today. If he gets another base knock here, another inning of work in that left field craft beer garden area where craft beers will be just $5 as Salisbury and Gauthier communicating out there on the bump. Coming into this 5th inning, Salisbury already with 85 pitches through 4. He has yet to allow a walk, but for the most part, giving up some timely hits to the Mammoths. Jake Polshan with the 2 singles, but he has not been able to come in to score just yet. Over there on first, of course, is Whisker. As the breaking ball misses the outside corner for ball 1. Whisker 0 for 1 on the base pass this year.
Yeah, good to see Polshan with a 2-hit day after getting the off night last night, but he did have the 1 at bat, which he came off the bench and pinch hit. Did strike out swinging in that at bat, so it's good to see him at the top portion of this lineup in the 3 spot. Usually the spot for your best hitter. Lefty on righty matchup is part of the reason why he is in that spot. We have seen Sonny Cortez in the 3 spot in recent games, but Cortez moved down to the 6 spot with that lefty on lefty matchup.
You mentioned earlier, Leo, how the Mammoths strung for 16 runs in that game on June the 4th. And Jake Polshan was only batting in the 8th spot. Did go 1 for 3 in that contest, but in total in that game, 16 runs on 15 hits for the Mammoths. Without a doubt their best game of the year, and I'd be shocked if they beat it at any point. Meanwhile, Polshan down in the count 0-2 as Salisbury forcing him to foul off with that pitch.
And that 1 hit he did have in that game was his first home run of the season, as the Mammoths put up 5 home runs in that game. They enter with just 9 this season, but 7 in their last 2 games after Cortez and Whisker went yard for the first time in both of their seasons last night, late in that ball game.
Back-to-back as well, providing some fireworks on a Saturday, which we, of course, see every Friday here at Jimmy John's Field. Salisbury trying to retire Polshan for the first time today. We'll see if he gets it done. In fact, he will. 86 upstairs, swung on and missed for out number 2, strikeout number 5 on the day for the right-hander out of Ohio University and the Mid-American Conference.
And this should be the last inning that he pitches, with that pitch count rising about over 90 now. But honestly, Salisbury hasn't turned this into a bad outing. If he can get this last out here in Jake Barbie, who could be a tough out. He does have 1 single, but if he gets the out here, 8 hits allowed by him, but only the 2 earned runs so far, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th. Not too bad for Salisbury.
Yeah, if you can have a game where you go at least 5, which of course is the amount of innings you need to be in line for the victory as a starter, and you have no walks allowed, I mean, not much else you want, but yes, a lot of singles he's allowed today. Gave up a pair of doubles, 1 to Smith, 1 to Pasquale. It's this one into left center field it goes. Both Weiss and Campana underneath it, and Weiss the one to get it as that ball tailed a bit more as it was making its way to him. But the Mammoths are all said and done in the home half of the 5th. We head to the 6th. Beavers out in front 4-2. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 5 at Jimmy John's Field. It'll be Todd Weiss, Ryan Smith, Ryan Kemp, the 8-9-1 hitters, due up for Birmingham Bloomfield against Troy Whitty, the man who got out of the jam for Westside in that 5th inning after Muratori came out of the game. Stranded a base runner as Todd Weiss looks at 2 straight, 2 out of the zone. Good hitters count coming up for the man who's 0 for 2 on the day with a pop out to first and a fly out to right. So the approach is there, trying to take it to the opposite field, and he's doing a good job in that, just has not been able to get the results that he's wanted. As you got to imagine now 3-0 the count on Todd Weiss, the man out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Just fitting that he's on the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, but Whitty trying to find the zone, won't get it here. You got to earn that strike zone, and he hadn't found it. That last pitch could have probably went either way, just in the scheme of the strike zone, but when you throw 3 straight ahead of it that don't hit, you're not going to get that call 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, and Weiss, who has been pitched inside during all 3 of his at-bats, finally gets rewarded for it there. Didn't really have to do anything, kind of just had to stand there and watch the 4 pitches come by, but Whitty's got a little bit more velocity than Muratori does, kind of sits at about 91 or 92 with his fastball, and Weiss recognized that they were pitching him inside and did not offer at any of the pitches that he saw.
And one thing about Todd Weiss over there on first, as Smith looks at ball 1 to begin his 3rd plate appearance of the afternoon, singled and scored in that long 3rd inning, struck out swing and missing on a drop 3rd strike, which was completed back in the 4th. Jackson Smith keeping tabs on Todd Weiss over there, and for good reason. Weiss doesn't have any stolen bases or attempts yet this year, but we mentioned he's in just his 3rd start of the season, but speed, one of the best factors of Weiss's game. You saw him run down that fly ball in left field a couple innings ago as a meeting of the minds on the mound. Everybody in the infield in there to talk strategy with, of course, 1 man on, nobody out, number 9 hitter up at the plate, talking steal, talking bunt, talking just the overall approach and what they're going to want to do here. The one thing I know it not is, and that's a hidden ball trick. So we're good there. But overall, Whitty's got to start finding the strike zone if he's going to want to stay in this one, as we see a left-hander getting loose in that Westside bullpen, as this one misses the zone as well. It's now 3-0. Looks to be that left-hander out there. Not sure exactly who it is just yet. Finding it out as quick as possible, but Whitty missing the zone here. 2 straight at-bats with 4 pitch walks, so 8 straight out of the zone here in this one.
Yeah, not the way that Whitty wanted to start off this inning. As we talked about before, he did struggle with walks in the Pecos League, walking 12 over 6 2/3 innings. So definitely not what you want to see here. We see another mound visit, the 2nd of the inning already. So not a good sign here for the Mammoths. Maybe trying to buy some time for their lefty relief pitcher. Rich currently working on acquiring the information so that we can provide you with the information about that pitcher. Not a lot of lefties here in the USPBL, but as we enter the season more here, seeing some new faces come into the league, as we have our college senior showcase on Monday. So if you're a college senior just coming off your season in baseball, you want to try out for the league, come out on Monday for that. Might as well give it a crack. Some guys currently in the league know that their career could be on the line with some new players that have a chance to make it into the league here. 1-0 count here on Kemp, and the 1-0 offering missing there, so 10 straight balls now thrown here by Whitty. And Kemp, not the tallest guy up there at the plate, so the ability to draw some walks just because of his height.
Finally, finding the strike zone is Whitty after, count them, 10 straight, like you said there, Leo, as might have a quick pull of the string there if Whitty cannot get Kemp out in this instance, as Jake Davis is getting loose out in that bullpen, the sole left-hander on this Mammoth roster in terms of pitching, as Kemp now, even at the count of 2-2, Whitty with 2 straight strikes after the first 10 that could not find the zone would be a big out if you can get the leadoff man, Kemp, in this one. The 2-2. Fastball, not going to be an easy play. Whitty's going to have to try and make a play all on his own as there's nowhere to go. Just a perfectly placed baseball. Kemp, as he returns back towards first base, puts up the 2 arms as if he was flexing his muscles there, having a little fun with his teammates down that first baseline. And that's what you got to do. Stay calm, cool, collected, and that's what I was actually talking with Nick Campana about prior to this game out at the interview desk in front of all the thousands of fans that were entering the gates. But he was saying how, obviously, the Beavers not off to the start they wanted, just 4 wins through their first 11 games. And Campana personally was talking with me about how he's been trying to do too much. He was off to a really good start this season. I remember he was batting about .476 through the first 2-3 weekends, but has kind of cooled off, and it's mentally for him, he said he was just trying to do too much. You got to not force things to happen. You have to let them happen, as he tries to force that one 500 feet to the left, but it's well foul. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and that's the way that you have to approach the game. You got to take it one pitch at a time, not even just one at bat at a time. Every pitch, you got to take it one at a time. You can't think about it necessarily from that big picture perspective all the time.
Hanging breaking ball hit on a line, but right at Ryan Rivera, who throws the ball into Dobson, the cutoff man. Tough instance there for Campana, but hey, you know what? It's a close game still, so they will take any run that they can get as the sacrifice fly out to left is recorded, and it's only for out number 1, so the Beavers getting their 5th run of the game in this top of the 6th.
And really, that just shows the approach that Campana wanted to have right there. He's had a pretty good day at the plate now with the RBI. He's 1 for 2, technically now with the sac fly and the walk, so not trying to do too much like you said, Rich. And it has paid off for Campana, who's struggling with the bat lately, but seems to be finding his groove once again.
It's Haffey standing in now 0 for 2 with a fly out, a strikeout, but did walk and score in the 3rd. Batting .385 coming into play today. Whitty not keeping tabs on the base runner Smith, who gets a stolen base there of 3rd. And you got to mix up those looks if you're the pitcher. And Smith took full advantage of it. Noticed that Whitty had been keeping the same look at the base runners and then going right home with it. Got to be able to attack that running game, something that my pitching coach at Macomb, Bill Hendershot, always told me you have to attack the running game. It's a whole different aspect of pitching in itself. It's a part of the game. You have your attacking of the running game. You have your fielding, the PFPs that you have to maintain with those grounders in between the pitcher's mound and first base, and obviously everything else you got to do as a pitcher with your approach against these hitters as the 1-1 fouled off. But overall, Kemp now in there at second with that sort of double steal is the 1-2 missing away. Good try in the frame from Smith, but not enough.
And that's definitely a good point. You're not just out there to throw the ball to the hitter. You got to think about those base runners. It's always a little bit tougher, not just working from the stretch when you don't normally work from the stretch if you're a wind-up pitcher, but you got to keep tabs on those runners out there. It can affect not just the game, but also your mental state out there as a pitcher. It can affect the way that you're trying to throw to these hitters. And if it takes your mind off it for just a second, you could make a mistake that you don't want. So it's kind of multitasking out there for the pitcher.
That was a great pitch there from, of course, Whitty. Is that one a fastball at 91 in on the hands, but in on the strike zone. Haffey with a good battle in this one, and that's something that I've noticed as well. He's had no at-bats today with just one pitch in them. The least he's had is 4, but that was in his strikeout that he had. This one taken for a ride out to right center. Sonny Cortez trying to make his way to the wall, but forget about it. This one over the fence. Ross Haffey with his 3rd home run. Drives in 3 with one swing of the bat. So Smith, Kemp, And Haffey coming in to score. Chris Newell loving what he's seeing from his latest addition onto this roster. And Haffey providing the power here for Birmingham Bloomfield. All of a sudden, an 8-2 lead. This one turning over in favor of the Beavers as it looks like Whitty's day will be done. And it ends on a tough note as we'll talk about the man coming in to pitch for him when we come back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. The day all said and done for Troy Whitty. Can only go 2/3 of an inning combined as he finished off the fifth, retiring Adam Gauthier, who singled, was taken out at second base via the force out when TJ Ward grounded out into the fielder's choice. But came in, 2 walks and then a single, accompanied with a sacrifice flyout and then a 3-run shot off the bat of Ross Haffey have broken this one open for Birmingham Bloomfield. They now lead it 8-2 in this top of the 6th. Jack Haranek, meanwhile, as I'm stating all that, hits a fly ball into center. Sonny Cortez underneath it to make the catch. 2 down in this top of the inning as Adon Ordonez coming in, a double and a single and 2 RBIs after his fly out to right field back in the second.
And Jake Davis taking over, the only left-handed pitcher on this roster out of Cypress, Texas. He was a starting pitcher at Southern Mississippi University and then finished his college career at St. Edwards. He was pitching last year in the Frontier League with the Evansville Otters. Just 8 1/3 inning for him there, but 14 strikeouts, did walk 7 batters, so control a little bit of an issue, but a guy that is known as a strikeout pitcher.
So this pitch in the dirt, the breaking ball, good eye from Ordonez, looking for his 3rd consecutive hit. And just the single back on Thursday, but he was batting in the 9th spot, where he's been for the most part all season, 8th, 9th, but with his recent success, his batting average still not where you want it, but, you know, with the things not going the way Chris Newell had wanted so far through the first 11 games, you got to mix it up. And it's working thus far for Ordonez up in the 5th spot. Looks at a breaking ball for called strike 2. Would be shocked to not see Davis bring that again here, as it's looking good out of that left hand. Smith setting up outside. The fastball at 90. just fouled off there by Adon, so we'll stay alive for at least one more.
And I think the Beavers and Chris Newell know that Ordonez is a good hitter, 305 average at North Carolina A&T State University D1 NCAA baseball for him. 305 over 4 years, nothing to scoff at. They know that he's got the potential as far as batting average and contact, but maybe just a change of an approach for Ordonez. I do remember some at-bats kind of earlier in the season, pretty aggressive approach for him, swinging at the first pitch, the second pitch of the at-bat, so seems like Ordonez has changed his approach, and it's paying off for him.
So 2s across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to number 26, Ordonez, who's already got 2 hits in the contest. 2-2, ground ball, rolled over to the left side of the infield. Dobson having to rifle that one. Gets the job done. The 6-3 putout is recorded, but not before the Beavers get, count them, 4 on 2 walks, a single, and the big 3-run shot from Ross Haffey. We head to the home half of the 6th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the 6th we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you as always. The day is done for Jerry Salisbury. Count him 97 pitches in 5 innings of work. Did allow 8 hits, but just 2 runs, so he was able to spread the 8 hits throughout the 5 innings. Didn't have any walks either, which is a great sign, as well as 5 strikeouts in total. And, of course, with the 5 innings pitched, he's in line for the victory as Javon Shelby having to face off against Dylan Collette in there, the left-hander in relief in his 2nd season with Birmingham Bloomfield.
Yeah, Collette's had a good season so far. His 2nd season now in the USPBL. 3.18 ERA this year, 11 1/3, 12 hits given up, 4 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts as Shelby taps one over to first.
That one awkwardly sliced to the first baseman, Ross Haffey. Makes the play with ease unassisted. 1 up and 1 down. Dylan Collette, a guy who can throw tons of strikes, and he is very effective. Like you mentioned, that 3.18 ERA, 3rd best on the team behind Salisbury and Steinfurt. But the kicker, just 2 walks in almost 12 innings of work. A left-hander, a surefire reliever, as Sonny Cortez stands in, 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a strikeout. Came in to score the first run of the ball game on that Jackson Smith double back in the second. Cortez, like Whisker, really seeing some pitches in this contest. I'm loving the approach as this one ricochets off the dirt on the way to the pitcher's mound. Almost makes contact with Dylan Collette's body, but it looks as if he got the mitt there in time. I wonder what the exit velocity off of that one was, because it was a rope right back up the middle. Just happy to see Collette not on the ground thriving in pain, because that was a shot back up the middle.
Had some really odd spin on it there. May have caught that lip between the dirt and the grass there on that little trail from home plate out to the mound. Just never know what you're going to see a baseball do, really.
So Cortez with his second single of the day, that average continuing to climb as it's above 400, with Pasquale standing in 1 for 2 on the day, doubled and scored in the fourth. As he's ahead in the count, 1-0 here. Cortez on the season, tied for second with 3 stolen bases. Opportunity to end the inning, not if the runner Pasquale can get down the line in time, but he will not, as the 6-4-3 putout is recorded. Love to see that. We're through 6 at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Right into the action here in this top of the 7th inning. Adam Gauthier, TJ Ward, Todd Weiss due up for Birmingham Bloomfield in this 8-2 ball game as we enter the 7th inning. Gauthier on the day, not bad. Single, RBI, walk to his credit after his strikeout in the 2nd inning. Trying to get things going against the left-hander Jake Davis, who came in for Troy Whitty, having a tough day. Ended up getting a fly out to center and a ground out to short against Haranik and Adon Ordonez. So a good 2 for 2 thus far for the left-hander Davis, as he's quickly got Gauthier down in this count 0-2. Both him and Collette coming into this game in relief. 7 pitches in their first outing of work, both with 5 strikes and 2 balls, as the 0-2 to Gauthier misses away. It's 1-2. One thing that I wanted to bring up at some point, at least touch on at some point in this broadcast, of course, in my opinion, one of the best times of the year is the breaking ball doesn't fall in. Of course, super regionals happening at the moment in college baseball as we're ready for the college senior showcase tomorrow at Jimmy John's Field. But yesterday, the freshman Kamar Rocker from Vanderbilt, are you kidding me? yes, a no-hitter, but almost more impressive, 19 strikeouts in a no-hitting affair. Just an unbelievable outing for Vandy in a elimination game against Duke. And he came through and then some for Vandy, as coming through in this one is Davis. First battle in the 7th, strikeout looking as TJ Ward comes up to the plate.
And there's always the debate whether, you get drafted out of high school. Kumar Rocker actually was drafted out of high school. Do you go to college, or, do you go right into affiliated baseball? We've had a few guys here in the USPBL, like Javon Shelby, drafted right out of high school and decides not to go to college. It's really a tough decision for those guys to make because you're getting good experience either way. Sometimes you might want to focus on that education and getting the baseball experience, but it's kind of interesting. Everyone's path a little bit different to finally reach the major leagues.
TJ Ward with the same history coming into the USPBL. As we mentioned, teammates at Hartford when they won their conference championship. Of course, then leading on to the USPBL championship as the 2-0 breaking ball falls in the back door for called strike one. So you win your conference championship and then the USPBL championship in a matter of months. Pretty good summer in 2018 for these two men. As the 2-1 swung on and missed at 81. Looked as if Ward was even late on that off-speed pitch, which means that he was expecting something different and ended up trying to make something happen just too late. So the count even now at 2-2. Davis, the kick, the push, fastball up and away at 88 brings the count full.
And Davis is looking pretty sharp so far. That pitch just missing on the black there on that outside part of the plate, just off of it, I should say. But his misses have not been too bad so far.
Good job from the Beavers in this 7th to at least see a lot of pitches. Even though Gauthier struck out, it was 5 pitches that it took him to get there. And TJ Ward already now with 6 in this at-bat against Davis. Infield, outfield at normal depth. Payoff pitch to Ward. Breaking ball. Up into the 5-6 hole, as that's the second single of the day for the third baseman. Good sign for him, as his numbers not necessarily where he'd like him to be. He's got some hits, but just a .255 average on the season. He's looking for that to creep up a bit as Todd Weiss, standing in, looked at the 4-pitch walk that started the 6th inning for Troy Whitty when he had 10 straight pitches out of the zone to start the 6th that led to the 3-run homer from Haffey. Weiss on the day 0-2 with a pop-out, a fly-out accompanied by that walk. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat.
And that pitch missing outside. We talked a little bit last time around. Weiss has been pitched inside during all 3 of his at-bats so far, so maybe Davis going with a different approach as that one finds the outside corner.
So the count evening up for Davis. Good sign there. Todd Weiss, the last guy you'd want up at the plate if you're trying to turn 2, of course. He's got plenty of speed. As speaking of that, keeping tabs on TJ Ward is Davis on the season. Ward, if we take a look at the base pass, doesn't have any attempts just yet. Maybe a hit and run. Try and get out of a double play that could end the inning, as this one misses the zone away. The count now 2-1 on the right-hander out of Birmingham or out of Bloomfield.
Yeah, and Beavers not really known so much for their running game, just 5 for 9 so far on the season overall. So only 5 stolen bases for them. Not a team that usually likes to use running to their advantage, but they'll do so right here on this wild pitch.
So that one, an easy decision for TJ Ward. That one getting over the head of Jackson Smith. Yeah, in total, just 2 players on this team, Adam Gauthier and then Matt Farlow, with 2 stolen bases apiece. And we haven't seen Farlow in what feels like weeks, as this one fouled off to the right, evens the count up, or excuse me, brings the count full. So a good battle for Weiss in this one, trying to get the second consecutive single in the frame behind Ward. With Ryan Smith due up on deck, a single and a walk already with 2 runs scored to his credit. Trying to keep this inning going already with the 6-run cushion. Payoff pitch. Line drive down the left field line. Sort of an awkward swing there for Weiss.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times. We saw that in some of his earlier at-bats, but better to be a little bit ahead of the pitch, at least fouling it off to that left side as the right-handed batter, than to be behind against Jake Davis here, especially lefty on righty.
Ground ball chopped hard to the left side. Dobson cutting off the cutting off the third baseman, Steve Pasquale. And a good decision ended up made there as the 6-3 putout is recorded. And here comes Ryan Smith up to the plate with an opportunity to drive in the 9th run of the game for the Beavers.
Not a bad day for Ryan Smith. Entered hitting below 100 at the 077 mark. Just 2 for 26 to start his season, but singled in his first at bat, which was back in the 3rd, and then also walked in the 6th. So not too bad of a day here for Smith, who's trying to stick around here in the USPBL.
So Smith looks at ball 1 to begin this at bat. The right-hander, backdoor breaking ball in there for called strike 1. Yeah, Smith with a very, very slow start to the season. 2018, he did not do bad in terms of offense. Batted somewhere in the 200s. The 1-1. Outside fastball. That one a called strike as well. So a good job from Davis to stay outside of Smith and just painting that outer third. And you see Smith kind of step up to the plate a little bit more, maybe come back inside with this one if you're Davis. The kick, the push, breaking ball. Just too much of the looping action and didn't come down enough, or early, I should say. The count now even at 2-2.
Yeah, the Beavers are putting up some tough fights in these at-bats, but Jake Davis seems to really have his stuff there. His control is looking pretty good.
This one into left field. Trying to make the diving catch is, of course, Ryan Rivera, but he will not come down with it. And Ward and Smith changing spots on the base paths. Got to imagine they're going to give the double there to Smith. So a good spot there.
And really not a ball hit all that hard either. Not sure if I am a huge fan of that diving attempt by Rivera. Maybe didn't get the best beat on the ball initially, and maybe just trying to make up for it, but the runner ends up scoring. Probably wouldn't have scored if he did not dive for that baseball.
So back to the top of the order. Kemp on the day, 2 for 4 with 2 singles, runs scored. As the 1-0 called strike 1. Base open at first. Beavers out in front of this one, 9-2. Put up 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and 1 more here in this 7th inning as the 1-1 missing. Good hitters count for Kemp. A man not measured by his size, but his heart. He's batting above 300 on the season, standing at just a minute 5'4". Never give up, kids. It's plain and simple thing that you can do anything you set your mind to. I mean, look at Jose Altuve, for instance.
Right. Yeah, Altuve, 5'6", one of the shortest players in the league. Astros also have Tony Kemp, 5'7". It's not about the height always.
This one to right, Whisker with a good jump on that line drive, and it will record the 3rd and final out. We had to stretch time at Jimmy John's Field. Beavers out in front by 7. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Dylan Collette out there for another inning of work. Jackson Smith, who's had the hot bat today, was perfect. 2 for 2 with a double and a single with 2 RBIs coming into this 7th inning. First pitch swinging, grounds out on the unassisted play from Ross Haffey. 1 up and 1 down, Ryan Rivera coming up now with Ryan Dobson on deck, top of the order.
Yeah, late into this ball game, it's been another struggling day for this Mammoths offense. They do have the 9 hits, but have not been able to hit in the clutch. Last night with 7 hits against the Hoppers, but the team did strike out 14 times. So they definitely have been struggling at the plate since that non-public game, which they put up those 5 home runs and 16 runs. Just has not been the same offense for Mark Wiedemeyer and these Mammoths.
As Rivera steps out, that one almost getting a piece of him, the left-hander. 0 for 2 with the ground out and the fly out thus far today. Collette trying to take care of business in the 7th and most likely the 8th, as there's not a soul doing any type of activity in that right field bullpen, contrary to the left side, where it looks as if Brennan Price starting to toss some leather around. Is the count now 3-0 on Rivera. Fastball in there for called strike 1. Collette trying to battle back in this one. Last thing you want is to walk the 9-hole hitter. Takes a deep breath, comes set. The kick, the push. Fastball outside corner looked good, but instead it's a 1-out walk. And Dobson coming up to the plate.
Yeah, definitely a borderline call there, but home plate umpire Jim Mulick keeping that strike zone consistent even late in this ball game. So trying to stay on the good side of the players and the coaches. You can definitely respect that.
Over there on first now is Rivera. Ground ball, left side, could be 2. The 6, the 4, the scoop of 3 over at first. Haffey saves Ryan Kemp as Ryan and Ryan are retired by Ryan. So we head to the 8th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the 8th we go, or excuse me, to the top of the 8th we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you as it's 9-2 Birmingham Bloomfield. Campana, Haffey, Haranek, the heart of this order due up, and the day all said and done for Davis goes an inning and 2/3, allows 1 earned run on 2 hits, didn't have any walks but did have a strikeout to his name as Campana standing in, fouls off the 1-0 as this one into the protective netting. Behind home plate on the wild pitch from the new right-hander, the big fella, Brennan Price.
Yeah, Price, 6'9", and also affiliated experience coming in. Drafted by the Brewers back in 2016 in the 29th round of that 2016 Major League Baseball first-year player draft, and then was signed as a free agent by the Blue Jays. So he's been with a couple of big league ball clubs, obviously not reaching the MLB level, but Price did struggle with his control in the minors and has been struggling with his control so far this year with 7 walks in 7 innings, but he'll get his 7th strikeout of the season right here.
Campana's had a pretty good day outside of this strikeout here. He lined out to right on a good shot to Whisker.
That's right.
Back in the first, singled and scored in the third, walked and scored in the 5th, and then drove in a run with a sac fly back in the 6th inning. So every at-bat so far today for Campana has been a good one. Just gets frozen on a borderline pitch there from Brennan Price, but you're up 9-2. Anything close with 2 strikes you got to protect, but understanding it from both angles as Haffey standing in. Talk about a good day. The 3-run homer in the 6th, and, of course, the walk on 4 pitches in the 3rd, and then came around to score on the double from Ordonez as the 1-0 swung on and missed.
And Haffey, who has not played in many games so far this season, only 4, so making his 5th start here in the now 12th, actually 13th game that the Beavers have played, and he's got half of the team's home runs, 3 of the 6 now. He took that last home run to one of the deepest parts of the park and to the opposite field in deep right center, so great bat in this lineup. This is a guy you want right in that 3 spot.
So the count 2-2 on Haffey. Price misses the zone by a wide margin. It's full. As this one swung on and missed. Haffey is retired, so Price with a good inning in this one. 2 up and 2 down. Both via the look, as Haffey did not in fact go around. Called strike 3 there from Jim Mulick. So a couple of lookers between, of course, Campana and Haffey. Something we probably won't ever say again this season. Sort of an anomaly there. As this one into left center, making a beat on it is the center fielder Cortez. Almost saw a collision, but clearly the communication there, and the center fielder taking charge as he should. We're through 7.5 at Jimmy John's Field. Birmingham Bloomfield out in front by 7. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the bottom of the 8th we go. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for Westside. Whisker, Pulshan, and Barbie. Whisker on the day singled back in the 5th before his fly out to center and ground out back up the middle as he looks at ball 1 to begin this home half of the 8th. Dylan Collette out there for his 3rd inning of work. 7 pitches in the 6th, 7 pitches in the 7th. Can we see 7 pitches here in the 8th? We'll need to get Whisker out pretty quickly if he wants to do that. As Whisker on the season, .312 batting average coming into play today. Good enough for 8th in the league overall. As a little break in the action here.
Yeah, in both innings that Collette has pitched in, there have been base runners reached, but Steve Pasquale and Ryan Dobson both grounding into double plays to end those innings. So defense helping out Collette a little bit, but also got to give credit to the pitcher for rolling a few ground outs in those situations with runners on first. So not too bad of an outing here for Collette so far. Could make it a clean 3 innings of work here. Very sizable lead for the Beavers as Whisker takes a hack and goes down swinging.
So 1 up and 1 down for Collette here in this home half of the 8th. First strikeout of the day for the left-hander. Of course, Collette coming to us from Albany, New York, the UMass Dartmouth native. Ready for Jake Pulshan. 2 singles for him on the day through the first 3 innings, and then swung and missed on a strikeout in the 5th. Trying to see more of the beginning of the day for Pulshan compared to the latter. .415 on base percentage coming into play today, which is good for 7th in the league. The 0-1 in on the hands. That's a perfect off-speed pitch from Collette. And quickly Pulshan for the 2nd consecutive at-bat down in the count 0-2 early.
I'm taking a look at the box score that I've compiled here. And despite the Mammoths' 9 hits, there hasn't been more than 5 batters up in 1 inning, so those hits really have been spread out. There's been a few double plays and unfortunate breaks for this Mammoths offense. They just can't seem to put together really a strong inning here against the Beavers.
2 hits in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. Took him all the way to the 7th to not get a hit in an inning. As the 1-2, good piece of hitting there from Pulshan, but hit right at Ryan Smith in right field. Quickly 2 up and 2 down. It's just crazy to think you get already 9 hits in this ball game and just 2 runs to show for it. Thankfully, Jackson Smith is in this lineup because without him, they'd be at the goose egg.
Yeah, the 2 RBIs that the Mammoths have, both of them credited to Smith. The RBI double back in the 2nd, and then the RBI single into center field, which was back in the 4th. So really not much doing for the rest of the lineup as far as offensive production here. And you mentioned, Rich, that the last inning was the only inning that they don't have a hit in so far, but they still did get the walk, so Collette looking to make it no base runners for the first time for the Mammoths this inning, and he's going to do it.
So there you go, the 1-2-3 conventional inning. Was it the first we've had all day? Technically, this 8th inning, your first perfect. We had a perfect top and a perfect bottom. We'll take it. We head to the 9th. It's 9-2 Birmingham Bloomfield. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We've played 8 here on this Sunday matinee contest in this Western Division matchup. Adon Ordonez, Adam Gauthier, TJ Ward do up the 5, 6, 7 hitters for Birmingham Bloomfield. Back out there for his second inning of work, Brennan Price, who had a perfect 8th, 2 strikeouts and a flyout to center. Slow chopping ground ball won't be an easy play for Pasquale, but he makes it look that way. The stretch from first from Barbie completes the 5-3 putout, and I'll tell you right here and now, Leo and all of our fans listening, coming into this matchup, Price with the 7.71 ERA through 7 appearances in just 7 innings. He's allowed 7 runs on 8 hits, but he's got 7 walks, 6 strikeouts. Overall, not great numbers with batters hitting about 290 against him, but a better day for Price, and hopefully things stay that way for the big fella. And if you haven't noticed, he's a pretty large figure. Price, we mentioned it before, the Middlesex, New Jersey native, 290 pounds, just under 7 feet, as the count even at 1-1 on Gauthier, who's looking for his second hit of the day instead of his 3rd strikeout, as he's got 2 of those outside of the single and the walk. Did drive in Campana back in the 5th inning as he looks at ball 2. The 2-1. Look out. Almost getting a piece of Gauthier as he turns away from it. Now a perfect count for a hitter. I'd be ready to swing the bat if I was Gauthier in this one. The 3-1. Fastball down Broadway at 91, fouled off into right, into our patio. But a good job from Price to battle back in this one.
Yeah, and it's not a high leverage situation for him. The Beavers with that 7-run lead, 9-2 right now. So Price is just trying to go out there and maybe work on some things that he has been struggling with, and this situation provides him the opportunity to do so.
So making the catch in foul territory is Barbie, 2 up and 2 down for Price, and the Mammoths in this 9th. Trying to retire 6 straight himself, and would be the 7th straight Beaver retired. Look at that. First pitch swinging is Ward. Tried to make something happen on the first try. This one hit a mile up in the air. Javon Shelby underneath it to make the catch. So the grounder to the left and back-to-back pop-outs to the right side. Retire Birmingham Bloomfield in the top of the inning. We go to the home half. Mammoths need at least 7 to keep this one going. We'll see what they can do. They have the 5, 6, 7 hitters due up. Shelby, Cortez, Pasquale. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We go to the home half of the ninth. Javon Shelby, Sonny Cortez, Steve Pasquale due up for Westside. As the day is done for Dylan Collette, goes the 3 innings through just 23 pitches. As he allowed the 1 walk, had 1 strikeout, 1 hit allowed. Overall, really stand-up job for the man out of Albany, New York. He now gives way to Hunter Keel, who's already got Shelby down 0-2.
Yeah, Keel so far this year, 6.43 ERA in 7 innings of work. Has only given up 2 hits. Has given up the 5 earned runs, which is not a number you want to see. This one over to the left side. Looks like that one's going to be out of play, but going back to Hunter Keel's numbers, 9 walks in those 7 innings. Does have 6 strikeouts. The walks have definitely been a problem for him, and we've brought up his numbers in some of his past outings. He was with the Chicago White Sox organization, with the AZL White Sox in the Arizona League. He had a 2.65 ERA in 2018 with them, 33 strikeouts in 17 innings, but the walk number pretty high at 20. So he's a strikeout pitcher, and when he can find his way into the strike zone, he definitely is effective.
So that one, believe it or not, ricocheting off of a couple of grandstand seats in front of us and actually made contact with one of our windows up here. Leo, that very well could have been your laptop or our camera up here in the booth, but from a financial standpoint, we're all smiles up here as Shelby fouls off another one.
Yeah, the chance of a foul ball reaching our press box, very slim here. We got the overhead protection here with the suite level floor above our head as kind of a roof. So really the only chance that we have at a foul ball is a deflection like that. Should have had my hand out the window. Could have got a foul ball maybe.
You never know. Opportunity's always there. So at least, we're still early on technically in this season, as we're just a month through now on this 9th of June. But yes, never a dull moment up here in the press box as Shelby trying to avoid his 3rd strikeout of the game and his 6th strikeout in his last 8 at-bats. A 1-2. Foul ball. Looks like it drilled him good off of that hand. And he's going to be given first base here. It's a tough spot there for Shelby. Your team's down by 7 runs. It's great that you got the leadoff man on, but at what cost? It looked like he was in some thriving pain there. But in the end, we know that Keel wasn't meaning to do so, and especially with 2 strikes on him, not sure what I'd rather have, the 3rd strikeout of the game or that one, and it looks like Shelby might be taken out of this game, and he hasn't touched first yet.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too serious. You would like to see him maybe come out just as a precautionary thing. You don't want to be out there injured. He's currently trying to shake off that one, but it looked like a tough one. It maybe caught part of the bat, but the sound definitely a little bit alarming. We're hoping that it at least caught some of the bat, but trainer coming out right now to check on him. Maybe he is trying to just be a man and try to stay in the game, grinding it out for his team.
Definitely respect that. Of course, thanks to our friends at DMC, the official medical provider of the USPBL, getting a look at a Shelby over there at the first base position. Got to imagine that somebody at the foot of that bullpen, or foot of that dugout, excuse me, going to have to be ready to take the spot because it looks like he's not going to be able to continue. So a bad sign there for the second baseman for the Mammoths. We're hoping that he'll be back on Wednesday when the Mammoths are back in action in the public game, but he's not going to be able to finish this one off here. So we'll take a quick look, and it's looking as if that is Stephen Wells Jr. coming in to pinch run for him. We're hoping that it's not a long loss for Shelby, but his day is officially said and done here in this home half of the ninth.
Yeah, and Hunter Keel is one of the premier velocity guys in the league. The scouting report said that when he played back at LSU, he has a fastball that tops out at 97, so you don't want to be hit, especially in the hand, but you don't want to be hit by a guy that can throw 95-plus miles per hour.
So here comes Sonny Cortez as the 93-mile-an-hour fastball misses upstairs. Cortez on the day, good per usual, 2 for 3, 2 singles, run scored, did strike out once in between the two, but looks at ball one to begin this at-bat. This one, backdoor, called strike one, now even in the count. Mentioned Cortez, the best batting average coming into play today. It's above 400 now. Most runs scored was 17, now 18. Second in the league coming into play tonight with 18 hits. Those, of course, now at 20, as he's got the best on-base percentage as well, as it's .534. Just a lot of first-place finishes in these categories offensively for Cortez. And even down with 2 strikes, he's never out of it, as that one misses high and away.
And we mentioned earlier in the game, Cortez, who was hitting towards the upper part of the lineup for most of the season. He was in the 1 spot earlier in the season, moved into now the 3 spot, but he's in the 6 spot tonight after starting off facing the left-hander in Salisbury. Looks like he's going to have his 3rd base hit of the game.
That just kind of shows you the type of hitter that Sonny Cortez is. Down with 2 strikes, late in a game where you're down by 7 runs, majority of ball players would not necessarily still have that edge that clearly Sonny Cortez has. 3 hits in this game, and at the moment, the best position player that the USPBL has to offer, in my opinion, with Pat Adams chasing his tail.
And that's the type of edge and grit that you need to have late in these games. We kind of saw some signs of the Mammoths with the same approach yesterday when Sonny Cortez and Ethan Whisker went back-to-back late in that ball game. But really what it comes down to is your stats, and you can say, oh, maybe just trying to pad his stats late in the game, but that's just not the case. You want to up that batting average, that on-base percentage as much as you can, so you can't take any at-bats for granted.
Meanwhile, Keel dealing with some issues of command as well as, of course, the results thus far. Over there on second base now is Wells, filling in for Shelby with the hit by pitch. The Mammoths trying to put something together against Hunter Keel, even though I believe it's Matt Dallas getting loose out and right. In fact, it is, just in case things start to get wary for Keel. Is this one inside again? We're seeing a lot of pitches inside to these right-handers, and that's due to him kind of dropping that right arm and slinging it through instead of over the top. Still, the count 2-1, opportunity to get 2 for the price of 1. As here comes this one, 88, misses low and away this time around, so a hit by pitch, a single, and now almost a walk. Not an ideal inning for Keel, and for the second consecutive Sunday, the Beavers with a big lead in the 9th with a tough start to this home half with the pitching. This one over there, heads-up play from the shortstop Ordonez, and a great athletic play from T.J. Ward. Ward not sure if that one was going to come to him or not, but really the only play that Ordonez had. Could have gotten Pasquale at first, but he was well over there to the third base bag already, so he ends up getting the force out via the 6-5 putout. Cortez at second, Pasquale reaching on the fielder's choice. Heads up play to get the lead runner, even though you got the 7-run lead, never out of it in this great game of baseball. This one hit high into the foul area, sort of in that no man's land. Love the effort from T.J. Ward, busting his tail down into the left field corner from third base, and almost coming up with a catch, too.
Yeah, Mammoth's not going away yet. First and second still with 1 out, and Jackson Smith has driven in the only runs of this game for the Mammoths with an RBI double in the second, single that drove in 1 back in the 4th, so he has been hot with the stick tonight.
Looks at the second pitch of the at-bat, evens the count up at 1-1. Smith, the great day already with the sole 2 RBIs on the day, with the double and the single to his credit. It's the guy you want up at the plate at the moment. If you're Westside, this ball popped up. A lot easier of a play for T.J. Ward, and he, in fact, makes the catch for out number 2. So now it's up to Ryan Rivera to try and continue this ball game for Westside. But at the moment, advantage Birmingham Bloomfield as they're trying to get victory number 5 on the season and end their weekend on a high note. Rivera on the day thus far, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. Reached on a 5-pitch walk in that 7th inning, but eventually was taken out for the second out as a part of the 6-4-3 double play that Ryan Dobson grounded out into. This one in the dirt, gets away from Gauthier. Sonny Cortez easily getting over to third, as well as Pasquale into second. So a couple of Mammoths trying to come in to score if Rivera can deliver with his first knock of the day. It was 1 for 3 last night with a single on the walk. And you try your best to take the little things out of each and every ball game. If the Mammoths can somehow maybe get these 2 runs in the home half of the ninth, even if they don't come out with the victory, you take that into Wednesday when, of course, they'll play against the Hoppers in our first game of the quote-unquote weekend, starting early on a Wednesday this upcoming weekend. Of course, then on the Friday or on the Thursday, the Beavers will take on the Hoppers as the 2-1 to Rivera misses away, and now it's 3-1. Base open there at first, but want to do everything you can to get out of this ball game sooner than later. This one popped up over our heads in the press box, and all of a sudden, Westside down to their final strike as the count is now full with 2 outs. Keel trying to close the door. Payoff pitch. Broken bat. Looks like this will do it. Haffey in foul territory, coming underneath it to make the catch. And your final score, 9-2. Beavers out in front for majority of this one after the Mammoths got their first run of the game in the bottom of the second. But in the end, the Beavers come up victorious in a much-needed win. They win their first game of the weekend. 9-2 your final overall. A barrage of hits for Birmingham Bloomfield, highlighted by Ross Haffey's 3-run homer in the 6th. But overall, taking a look at the lineup, Adán Ordóñez with a multi-hit game, as well as Ryan Kemp, the only 2 to have multi-hit games in this contest. Overall, though, if you're Chris Newell, you got to love what you saw from your offense today, taking it into the next weekend.
Yeah, not just the offense, the pitching staff shutting it down there. Jerry Salisbury with the 5 innings, giving up just the 2 runs, turned it into a pretty good start. He handed the ball over to Dylan Collette, and Collette with 3 scoreless innings with just 23 pitches thrown. Hunter Keel comes into the game a little bit shaky, but he gets the job done. So final 9-2, Beavers with the win, like you mentioned. Also a great day offensively, a few sac flies, 1 for Campana, 1 for Haranek. With some guys in the lower portion of this order also getting it done. Adán Ordóñez with the RBI double, as well as Ryan Smith. So Chris Newell may be seeing some signs that his team is turning it around, seeking their 3rd straight USPBL championship.
So overall, your final score, 9-2 here at the ballpark. The Beavers take this one. Mammoths dropping to 3-10 on the season, but they'll be back at it on Wednesday against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers as we officially are all said and done here for another weekend at Jimmy John's Field. Pleasure to have all you join us this weekend. Hope to see you on Wednesday. We'll be back on the broadcast at about 6:50 when the Mammoths take on Eastside on the 12th. But for now, hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. You stay classy, Utica.